Yeah, g'day guys. So today on the channel, we're going to be extending the shed by a lot. Anyway, let's get in and move some shipping containers. Here we go. So I've got a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff in my shed which I need homes for. Yeah, so this video has taken over a good 2.5, nearly 3 months to put together. So I'm starting by removing part of that hedge, and then being a sloping block, I can put legs at the other end and the container will still sit level. So then I've got a walking distance from my main shed without having to go down a level or anything silly like that. So I've just moved out all the cars and all the stuff and everything that's been in this lower level here. And then I've just got to do some footings and a bit of expansion and a bit of mucking around. So get yourself a beverage and a snack and sit back. A bit of a long video, but let's get into it, eh? Here we go. So that part of the hedge has got to go. So I'll just remove all this stuff, and I will measure it out and only remove what doesn't need to be there. Things we do just to make a bit of space. That pipe goes all the way along here, and I need to uncover it because I'm going to dig deeper than how deep that pipe is. Like, because there's a bunch of levels there I need to... Anyway, there's lots of mucking around, so I'll see if I can cut into it and make room for some containers. So that's the all the steel and stuff out of the way. This over here isn't really going to bother me too much because there's only like the 4 or 5 bushes that need to come out. There's a little bit of lattice behind there, and we'll get rid of that. That would block our view, of course. So I'll grab the digger, rip these couple of plants out, put them on the burn pile, which is a shame. The only thing I have to be extra careful about is those 2 bits of pipe just there. They go under this slab, and they go into the slab just there, which is a drain for the front of my shed. So I'll just be careful of those and rip those couple out, and we'll see where we're sort of standing. Look at that view. Shame we're going to put a shipping container there. Anyway, so no damage to the pipes. They're all pretty good, which is a bonus. And now I've just got one piece of lattice, that fencing, anyway, that's got to go, so I might as well chuck it on the burn pole. And then I can start doing some footings. Hard to see the edge of the concrete. Oh, there it is, right there. So, get this to the burn pile, and we'll be starting to make it look good. Let's get into that. It'd be nice if it stopped raining. Sort of trying to get somewhere. Then it rains. Anyway, oh, there's a clear patch. I'll come back to you when the rain stops. So here we are, a week later. The rain has finally stopped. There's still puddles around everywhere. Anyway, so I've added a couple of bits of 100mm PVC to those drain. Comes from over there, goes through there. So I've just added a couple of bits on. I'll just glue them in a minute. And all I got to do is do a couple of pier holes down here. Anyone doesn't know what a pier is, it's just a big hole which supports your slab, which goes down into the earth. I might go down and dig up that poly that runs across that pad. So I'll go and dig that up, and then I can start shooting some levels. I've got a loan of a dumpy level, so I've just got to work out how to use it, and I'll be away. Anyway, we'll get the heights and everything, we're sorted. I found where the joint is and capped it off. So let's fill in part of the trench, across the driveway anyway, so these guys can get back out. And then I can start shooting a level. There we go, road crossing's all done. Because I'm kind of thinking that the depth of that trench is about where I need to have the whole pad. I'll get the dumpy level out and see where we're at. Wow, man, I'm busy as hey. Like, I mean, I had to employ some staff, and then I got a staff assistant because there's just so much going on. Can't believe it. Okay, I've got a height from the concrete pad, which is 1432, and you can sort of see the staff, there it is there, sitting inside the trench that I've just dug, and it's at 4230. So with my mass, we've got a height of 2798 from this concrete pad. Now I sort of need 2900 because that's the height of a shipping container, because it's going to sort of sit right on the edge. So in theory I got 102 millimeters deeper than the trench. I'll get that staff out of the way and start digging away the pad, I guess. Anyway, I'll get into that. So here we are after day one of cutting the first slot, if that's the right word. I've gone and shot a few levels, and you can see this one here, it's 310mm too high. The one just across from it's only 260 high. Now the height is, see this square here, it is the correct height, if that makes sense. It's 2900 from that concrete slab up the top there. That's what I'm working everything off, is 2900 is a high cube height, 9'6" or something, whatever that is, and try and bring the whole pad all down to that level. Anyway, I'll keep digging. So I had this wild idea in the middle of the night. Actually, the wife suggested it, and you know, I argued for ages, you know, don't need more containers, don't need more shipping containers. So I gave in eventually. You know what it's like, got to keep the wife happy. So I got an extra 2 40-foot shipping containers on their way. Now I just got to work out where I'm going to put them, and she suggested that we put a 20-footer up near the house for storage. Yeah, great idea, yeah. And so now I get an extra one for the shed extension. Now we're talking, yeah. So I'm going to move everything in the carport, everything, including the zombie, and take out, because I'll put it up next to the other one, not just take out where the hedge is, I'll put one next to it. So I've got two that are suspended up in the air. So I've got to not only make bigger concrete pad, I've got to make bigger set of legs, not just 2.5 meters wide. Now it's got to be 5 meters wide, and all the footings and everything. It's such a sacrifice to have so much extra storage. Anyway, I'll work through it. Okay. So, nice sunny morning. So yeah, the bottom one's got to come out, and someone's cleverly not just bolted it in there, but they put a weld along the top and the bottom there. Isn't that nice? Why would you do that? You either bolt it or you weld it, not both. Anyway, this one here, luckily enough, it's just bolted, and a huge wasp nest. Mud wasps. Yeah, the top one's going to be tricky. My thoughts is use the bottom one and put it under here, screw it to those rafters there, and put an acro prop under it here. Funny thing is, the acro prop's way over in the corner there, behind all this and stuff. But anyway, that's what you got to do. Got to move all of this crud just here because it's too high, because the container will come straight out over the top of some of it. Let's cut those off and see what we can do. Anyway, let's get into it. That looks pretty open now. So this last piece of C-channel here, the one that was on the bottom, I've got an extra piece to weld onto it. That little piece there, it's just the right length, and it'll come all the way out where it matches up to here, because I'm going to actually just put it here all the way along, or past that post anyway, temporarily, with some acro props under it, so I can actually remove this post. Yeah, I know, sounds funny, but you'll see when it all comes together, because there'll be a shipping container right here, and they'll be butted up in the center, and that beam, that one there, these ones are alright, but this one is in the way, so all of these have to be supported somehow, so even if it's just temporarily. Add something onto that to give me the length, and then I can screw it up there, I suppose, and then when I'm ready to pull this post and everything, I can just put the props under it and we're all good. Because it's only temporary, remember? Because when the two containers are there, I will connect all of those to the top of the container. Anyway, so let's join those and I'll get back to you. Yeah, so to accommodate the extra 40 footer down the bottom, I wanted to make the pad a little bit bigger, so I cut it out a bit further. It was encroaching in some land down the bottom there, so I wanted to keep it flat, so I had to build a retaining wall. So went down with a digger, drilled a couple of holes, and chucked in some posts that I had laying around, because that's what you do. Anyway, so then I put some sleepers there, and just to retain a bit of dirt, so I pushed the dirt back up to it. So now I can drill all the pier holes the next level up above it to accommodate the footings. So let's get into some of that kind of work. Carry the two. 25. Oh, it's hurting. Nah, it's not that hard. Yeah, I'll show you. So if you go with this one as an example, you just take your highest reading, which was the furthest, and the lowest, and then you just minus it from the front ones. And this is the difference that we have. Like, it's only 2mm difference in the middle, and we got a bit of a drop there. So that's all right. I'm going to make legs for that. So nice and easy. Let's get into that. So these are the, this is the base and the top for the legs that I've got to make. There's just some steel that I've been collecting. There's a big pile of I-beams and this is amongst it, and I just acquired it all. Anyway, so I've got all this steel and I've got to remove a few bits like this off the top of it. And they need to be, I've got this really crude drawing here that it's got to be 5 meters across, because each container is 2435. That's outside to outside. People keep saying it's 2440, but anyway, it's not, if we're going to be precise. And I need it to be 2900 high. So there's going to be 3, that's one of the bits of channel on the bottom, and one of the bits of channel on the top, and just 3 big pieces of I-beam. And I'll put some crosses in it or something, some gussets, so it doesn't move. And I've got the dimensions for the 4 little posts, because there's going to be one container on this side, one container on that side, shipping container. And I'll just put a big heap of holes in the bottom there to anchor it through into the concrete footings with the big piers in it. Anyway, so nice and easy. Oh, there's the concrete pad size, so that's how big the pad is that it's going to be anchored into. Anyway, so the problem that I have is all the steel I got that I've acquired over the years. It's taken me years to get all this stuff together. The steel I've got, none of it's long enough, which is a bit of a pain. And I need 5 meters in these, in both these, for the top and the bottom. And this one's just a bit under 4. And the other one, this one here is just over 4. Now I've got these 2 bits down here. Now someone's gone and welded a piece of angle iron on the top. I don't know what that was for, but they're about 1200 long. So, and they're the right channel, the right dimensions, everything's the same. So all I do is cut that bit of angle off the top and join them on. And hopefully they're going to be alright. I might fish plate them or wherever they need to be. So they're going to be super tough. Anyway, so I'll get into some cutting and get rid of the crap on the top there, and then try and tidy these bits up and put them together, and then cut them to final length. So this one here needs a bit of a trim. It must have been in a bit of a hurry when they cut it. The other one's nice and square. This one's also needs a bit of a trim. Yeah, that's the size of it. Yeah, the other problem I got is my shed's not big enough. Yeah, it's always a problem. Yeah. Other blokes sort of complain about other things not being big enough, but anyway, my shed's not big enough. So, because it's 2900 high and 5 meters wide, right there, that's the door, the sliding door, and over here is where the thing is, the hoist. It's about 2910. So I'll be able to fit it there, and all the way from that bench up there to right here where I am, the edge of the table, it's 550 or something. So it's going to be a tight fit, and I need to make it all happen because the concrete floor is probably the flattest spot, and it's all going to be too heavy. I'll have to drag it out with the excavator. One of them jobs. Anyway, a bit of a heavy duty job, and it's needed to have some more room in the shed. So I need to make these legs for the new room, but I'm struggling for room, so I'm gonna have more room when I make them. Anyway, let's just get into these things, eh? Here we go. I've got our main pieces all cut, the two big long bits, and I've got the edge all beveled. Well, one end is all beveled and the other end's just tidied up, so you can just sort of see it. It's only a couple of mil in the middle and all V'd out, so it should get hopefully 100% penetration on both those. Now, the offcut bits, don't quite know what they were, but the inside is fully welded. Why, I don't know, to this bit of angle, but the outside's only got the occasional stitch. So there's only a couple of stitches, and instead of trying to use the cut-off wheel on the grinder or the big grinder, I might mark it out, put a straight edge on there and use the plasma. So let's start plasma and shit. So there we go, relatively nice cut. You can just see the remnants just there of the piece of angle. Like, I mean, there's the big heavy weld that was under it. So I've got to just grind a little bit, because the weld was fully on the inside and not the outside. If I just grind this edge off and the slag, that little piece of slither should come away. Oh, you can see it there, I've blown through. Yeah, so I've always used a bit of a guide of some kind. Like, I mean, that's not crazy hot, it doesn't get hot. You could probably use, I don't know, a bit of wood or something if you want, but I just had a bit of steel there. They recommend not to use steel, I don't know why. But anyway, maybe because you could cut that as well. Yeah, so now we got two bits of channel. I did that one just before. Just got to grind them up and butt them up and weld them nice and straight somehow. Anyway, let's get into that. Okay, so I've ground up those short bits, which have come up really nice, and I've beveled all the edges. If you don't know what beveling means, it's sort of like a double 45, if my camera will focus, and it'll help get penetration right to the center of all the steel when I'm welding it together. And I'll show you what I mean. I've got the short bit and one of the long bits sitting on top of the other beam, and this is what I mean by double 45s. So hopefully, if I can get enough heat into it, I'll definitely get 100% penetration. Now this one here is a little bit out of alignment, and it's not because it's not sitting straight. They're both square, but this might have been an older piece of channel. It's meant to be 200 by 75, but it's just not quite the same. I could put a heavy weld in there and up here, and then try and get a clamp and push this in, or get a jack and push that out if I really wanted it to be super pretty. But I don't know if it's going to matter. All I need to do is have two of these at 5 meters long. Let's get into a bit of welding and we're away. It's progressing really well, but this is only 2 out of 5 pieces of steel I need. Anyway, let's get some welding done. So there we go. That's welded from the other side, and I know that I've got 100% penetration. This one as well, you can see the little bumps. So when I put the weld from this side, it'll there'll be zero voids or anything in there. Anyway, I best get the rest of it done. There we go. Both bits of channel welded and cut to length. Both exactly at 5 meters. Anyway, let's get these out of the workshop and get some I-beams in. Okay, so the two long bits are, well, the top and the bottom piece is made, or cut to length, should I say. Now, to make this fit into that, because the legs are going that way, this is, yeah, so if this one's the top one, that's just got to be upside down and on the ground, I guess. So for the channel to fit, I have to notch it out a little bit, because it's the same width on the outside of the channel. So what I have to do is one of them. So you just get an old piece of channel, an offcut, and you just mark it out. Well, there's a scratch line on either side, so there's the scratch line, and if you look over the top, that's sort of where it would be. So we're effectively taking this piece out where that's got to go, if you know what I mean. So, and that's the line along there for this side, if you look in there. So if I just do those couple of cuts, what you actually get is it fits really nicely. You get one of these. So if I grab this, and it's a bit hard one-handed, here we go. So if you get this bit of channel, it fits kind of like that. So you just got to imagine that the blue bit, this piece here, is those bits. So they all fit together, and then you just put a big ton of weld in there. Get heaps of penetration. So I've done that one as well. Done the other end of it. So we've got a few cut, a few ends all done, and that one's just got to be cut to length. And this one's got to have the crud cut off the end, and notch that one out, and then we're right. Then we'll have 3 big long posts and the top and the bottom channels, and we'll be away. So I'll cut this one off camera, and then I just got to work out the length of these couple, like, because there's 4 pieces and I only need 3 legs, but only one of them, the back one there where my helmet's sitting on, my visor, that's the only one that was the right length. The other 3 are going to be bits together. So let's start doing a bit of cutting, and I'll come back to you when I'm sort of ready to put a few bits together. Anyway, I'll get into it. Okay, so a bit of an update. I've gone ahead and got this one to length. Like, this is the one that I already had that was the full length. And the other one I've added a piece onto, and I've only put a couple of good stitches on it. I've got to fully weld that yet, so don't stress. And then I'm going to fish plate it, like gusset it inside there, so it'll have plenty of strength. This one is also to length, and I've just had to add on a short bit, which is kind of really frustrating. It's only a couple 100 mil. Yeah, but anyway, that's done. So I've got my 3 legs. And I've also cut a gusset. So this is the leftover I had, whatever I had left over. So it's just cut at 45. So if you can sort of see it like that, that'll be vertical. This one's just a gusset in between it. So it should be fine. Anyway, I'll now weld this all together and this one. And then I'll give them a little bit of a clean up. Like this one here is a little bit scaly. So I'll just put the needle scaler on it to clean it up a bit. And then I'm going to put a bit of paint on them. Then I'm ready to assemble. So there's a bit going on. And once I've got them all assembled, because I've got to do it on the ground, because it's too heavy and too big to do any other way, that'll be fun. So I'll probably need the digger or somebody to help me to lift them all into place. And because I can move these one end at a time myself, like that's how I've been moving them across from one set of sawhorses to the other. But yeah, they're too heavy to physically lift for me. Feeling a bit, yeah, like they're just too much sometimes. Anyway, so I'll get these welded up and painted, and we'll start getting them into place. So I got the crane coming. So before I go and weld that up and paint it and everything, and then put it all into place, the crane's going to move the first two. The little 20-footer, I'm going to put it just outside, and I'm going to put it just outside here so I can paint it. And then, because it's pretty rough looking, so I'm going to paint it so then I can just put it next to the hedge. I'll show you later in the video. And the big ones, the 40-footers going down the bottom, so I can put Zombie in there. And it'll be out of the way. And then I can get the other two delivered. So anyway, let's go do some craning. Kind of nice height up here. I guess this is the height that the containers are going to be at. Yeah, it's going to be good. Getting exciting. Just got to fix this rust. pop the whirly in, and we're away. So there we go, it's the next morning and all the patches are done, and I've just finished putting Sikaflex. Didn't use silicon because it's sort of acidic based and it doesn't blend real well with metal, so we've used Sikaflex. It sticks like, what's the saying, shit to a blanket. Anyway, so it's all sealed as such all the way around. There were 16 patches in total, couldn't believe it. Anyway, all I got to do now is chuck the old whirly on and put a couple of screws in, tech screws, and I got a rattle can there. We'll make it a little bit greenish sort of, and patch those, like a couple of them are bare steel, so we'll tidy them up and job's done. Okay, I'll show you the beautiful artistry work in a minute. Doesn't that look awesome? Even the same colour green, close. I don't think I'd ever make a graffiti artist.
Gone before I realized I was out of my way. We sit and talk, I see your crying eyes turning red through the day. I share my mind with no censorship. Hanging on like to try. Teardrops hanging from your upper lip, clinging on, afraid to fly, and I wait for the night when I will hold you tight. Just heart from a darkened mind, spilling out in a song, and I wait for the night when I will hold you tight.
These are the fish plates I was telling you about. I've just sort of notched a little bit at the back there, and so I've ground down the weld a little bit, and that'll fit in there nicely. Sort of like that. So I'll be able to get a really good weld along this edge and a really good weld along that edge. I don't really need to weld the ends, but I may do, depends how I feel. So I'll just do 4 of those, like inside that and on the other side, both sides as well. I won't do anything outside or the web or the center piece. I just don't think it needs it. I'm pretty sure it'll be fine, so I'll just do these extra bits as an extra little insurance. The short beam, the one with the short bit on the end, I don't even need to worry about that. It's not going to change. It's too close to the end. Anyway, let's weld these in, and it's time for a bit of painting. So we're all done on both sides. Nice and tidy. Plenty of heat, plenty of pano. Now all I got to do is I'll tie it up with the flappy and run it along there so there's no dags or anything. And then now I can give this beam a bit of a paint job. Done a little bit of marking out. This is the center of the beam. This is the outer part of the beam. And see these little lines here? They're drill holes. So this one's the bottom, the base. So there's going to be 4 drill holes. That's the center of the beam. And it's going to go that way. This is the top of the beam. And see that cross there? That's where I'm going to put a little round peg for the bottom of the shipping container to sit onto, if you know what I mean. On the bottom of the shipping containers there's a hole in the bottom. So I've measured center of this one to center of the other one, and I've confirmed it with another shipping container, the big green one, and made sure that they're all exactly the same. They're 22.55 mil center to center. So if I just make little round pegs, short pegs, and weld them on top here, we'll be right. So that's the outside of that beam, that's the middle of the beam, that's the other side of the actual beam. So that's where the beams are going to sit, that's where the little peg's going to be. Look over here, this is where the other peg on one side, here's the other peg on the other side. So this is the center line of where the 2 shipping containers meet. This has been the top one. So this end's the same. Center of the beam, outer of the beam. And then I've got these marks, a bit hard to see. That's the drill marks. So I've done it 50 mil from the outside because it's like 10 mil there. So I was allowing plenty for a socket and a washer and things like that. For those, the bottom ones. Should be pretty easy to drill through the concrete. And there's that other center, the peg that I've got to make. Now what I'm going to drill it with is a hole maker. Some people call them a arbor drill or angular cutter drill, something like that. Anyway, there's a bunch of names. So I'm just going to do a test piece, a test drill hole from the edge to 50 mil in, just to make sure I'm happy with when I put an anchor into it. Now this is the anchor, the anchors that I'm using. They're a 16 mil. I think that's a 150. I'm going to try and get 200s, so it should be right. So that's just an example. I've got a 16 mil masonry bit to go into the footing. This is a 20 mil hole, so it'll be fine. It'll all be good. Just trust me. Yeah. So these are called true bolts. I don't know why. That's what they're called. They're the same bolts that I've got as anchors for the hoist, and apparently they use these in tilt slab building construction. They hold all the walls and stuff together. Anyway, these are 190s. So they're going to go further down into the concrete footings, and being galvanized, they're going to last forever. So anyway, so whoever was thinking, oh yeah, they're not going to last, your building's going to fall over, well, that's what I'm using. Anyway, let's get back to it. Anyway, so I'm just going to do this little test piece, and then I'm going to start drilling some other holes, these other ones, and go from there. Fingers crossed, then that's all ready to go. Oh, then I can actually lay it on the ground and grab those other bits over there and put it together. That'll be nice. I won't paint these ones as yet because of all these markings that I've got. like even once I've drilled these holes, I sort of still need the markings. So when I'm putting all those beams inside there, so I know where they all are. So there's no confusion. Anyway, let's start drilling, and we'll be nearly ready to assemble this big set of leg things. What? It's got to be there.
You're not going to make it. You're not even going to make that by removing those handles.
Let's just go. Okay, I've got a problem. Shed's not big enough. I can't bring this out far enough and still close the door for these posts to be straight. So the plan is do it tomorrow. It's getting towards the end of the day anyway, so first up tomorrow, after I've got a couple of chores I've got to go and do, and then I can try and get that outside beam right there, just outside the shed on blocks, and then I can line up all these other 3 posts and be able to ratchet strap them together so they're all tight. Anyway, so once they're all together, and then I can put some serious spot welds on them, and then I'll be able to put a few cross braces. I'm going to use that rod, that 60mm round bar. That's what they use on houses anyway. So what's that, 5/8? Yeah, 5/8 round bar. So anyway, I will close off for today, and I'll be back to it tomorrow. So I'm back next morning. Actually, it's nearly lunchtime. But anyway, I've got some progress, and I didn't have to leave the door open. Anyway, I'll show you. So I took out the handle brackety things, and it's right up against the hoist base, the car lift base. And I've got a few sort of squared up. There's a bit of a gap yet in that one, gap over there. But she's pretty close to the old door. I thought my measurements were pretty close. I thought I was like 100 out. But anyway, I've got to pull that in somehow, because this one, she's a bit tight. Yeah. I think that was the very first one that I did, and it was like a tap-in fit. I'm regretting that decision right about now. All the rest are all sort of slip-in fit. Going through some blocks of wood, busting them apart. Anyway, I've got a solution to get it together. Got a load binder and a chain, and hopefully that can pull it together. I'll put it around the middle because that's sort of where it needs it to get that sort of joint together there. But anyway, I'll put you guys back on the tripod and see if I can get this together with some heavy duty stuff. Anyway, let's get into that. Okay, so I've got all the frame together-ish with a couple of cable load binders. They're good for 2 ton, which has given me all the gaps nice and tight, which is really what I needed. This one I had to try and twist a bit to get that gap perfectly closed, but it is now. And this one here, we're all good. So now I just got to get it quite square. It's about 10 mil outer square now that I've got it sort of all pinched together. I'll use this big chain one because I've actually put spot welds inside the webbing. They've all got spot welds on them now to hold it all together. So I'll re-rig this chain and the big load binder to pull it back into square. We're only a couple of mils, so just hang in there. I'm nearly got it all together, and it'll be good once it's all done. Because man, this is a big structure. For me, it's a big structure in my workshop anyway. Like, I mean, it only fits by a couple of mil. Anyway, I'll square it up and put some welds on it, and then we'll get some cross bracing. Too much. Damn. Okay, everything is all tacked together. All the cross bracing's in. When I mean tacked, I mean like it's pretty beefy little tacks. So, and it's all square. Everything is flat, I'm hoping. Like all the blocks have got weight on them, so it's as flat as the floor is. And I still got the door closed, so if I don't quite finish it today, I'll be able to do it tomorrow. Anyway, I got a couple of hours of welding ahead of me. I'll get into it, eh? So there we go. It's all welded. And I gotta say, it's been a hot day. I haven't done the other side, which, as you can imagine, I can't get to. We'll have to wait until it's erected, like on its side, and then I'll have to do a couple of upside down welds, a bit of vertical, a bit of all that kind of stuff, which shouldn't be too difficult. But anyway, so now I need to get the damn thing outside, but that'll have to be tomorrow because it's the end of the day. Okay, it's another couple of days and I'm back to it. I've got the little pegs on the top welded on, and now I'm ready to drag this out. Gary from AMC Restorations, a good friend of mine, is coming over to give me a hand to drive one of the machines, whether it be a tractor or the digger, to carry it, drag it, get it down the hill. Anyway, so that's the first thing. The next one will be I'm going to try and weld up the other side. So whether I stand it up or flip it over or whatever, I got to weld the other side. And then I got to put a bit of paint on it before I put it up into place, ready for the shipping containers to be set on top. Anyway, so I'll get that into, not sure what order, but first up we got to get this out of the shed and get it moved. Anyway, let's get into that. Well, it's up there. At least I know the little digger can do it. Now I've just got to weld it up and paint a few bits. But the only problem is I'm blocking the driveway. You can't quite get a vehicle through there. So anyway, I'll see how we go. Do a bit of welding and So the legs are all done. This bottom half of the container build is done. I've got this massive pad of dirt right behind me. I'm going to move yet, but that's once the containers get put up on that top level there. You can sort of see where it's going. The containers will sort of sit at that level and right just up to this end of the concrete pad next to the carport. So it's all on one level. That was the crucial part of the whole build, was that, well, majority of will be all on one level. So I'll be able to walk into those two big shipping containers up here. So there's all sorts of other videos coming. The Brumby is about to get started again. Now that I've got the workshop back, there's a camper van video coming that you guys had asked for, and the second part of this video. So anyway, an ant is biting my leg. Anyway, fix that. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. See ya. It's zombie time.